is Spencer Flynn. I'm the marketing manager with the Capital Region International Airport in Lansing, Michigan, and I've been with the company for just under 2 years. The Capital Region International Airport is a mid-sized regional airport located right here in Lansing with direct international flights as well as flights to Washington, D.C., Minneapolis, Chicago, and Detroit. And in the wintertime, we have direct flights down to vacation destinations in the Caribbean. My job here at the Capital Region International Airport is to communicate with anyone and everyone about what's going on at the airport. This includes internal communication to our employees about new events, new hirings, and anything else that's going on at the airport, as well as communicating to the community and the government in our area about what's happening at the airport and how they can use the resource that we are. A lot of this is focused on passengers and explaining to them how they can get to where they need to go by flying out of the Lansing airport, and a lot of times that incorporates comparing ourselves to some of the other airports in the market, of which there are many here in Michigan. I also handle all of our social media and customer service questions. Whether they come through digitally, phone calls, or even in person, somebody may just walk up to me and say, "I have a problem, can you help me?" That's one of the fantastic things about being in an airport. We see so many passengers each year, nearly 500,000, and just walking through, you can always find somebody who needs a little bit of help, and you can really make their trip. My typical day varies in a really big way depending on what's going on. There are some duties that I do every single day, which includes monitoring the social media, monitoring my emails and the customer service emails, and making sure I'm posting to those social media accounts and keeping that communication open. But beyond that, things can sway wildly day to day. Some days we might have the Vice President of the United States fly in, and I have to work with the Secret Service and the federal government to make sure that the news and other media are all set and in proper places to keep things safe and secure. Other times it may be something smaller, like we have a foreign exchange student coming in, and they're meeting their family for the first time, and they want to make it a little bit special. So we help them celebrate when that student gets off the plane. From a technology standpoint, a lot of the things that people use day to day in most jobs are what I'm using. I don't get too far into the technical aspects of the airplanes and the airlines and the scheduling and things like that. For the most part, I'm looking at social media tools and email, and then of course creative tools like the Adobe Suite, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, so I can create custom graphics and presentations for the rest of the airport. One of my favorite parts about this job is that I get to interact with so many people. I do have a desk that I sit at every day, but at least twice a day I get up and I walk around the airport. I check in on people, whether they're passengers or some of our other partners in the airport, like the rental car services, the airline ticket counters, and the baggage claim employees, to make sure everything's going well. Because it's not enough just to get passengers to the airport. I really feel that my job is to make sure they have the most amazing experience possible, and that means checking in with all of the other partners that they're going to be involved with at the airport throughout their travel. One of the things that's a little bit tough about my job is because we're such a large organization, it can take a while for things to happen. Especially with our involvement with the federal government, it's not as easy to make a quick decision as it might be at a smaller business. And this is something that I've experienced in the past working at smaller businesses. When you make a decision or you put an effort in something, you see that result very, very quickly. And because of the governmental issues and the size of our business, sometimes it takes just a little bit longer than I'd like for that change to happen here at the airport. My work setting, like I said, I have an office, but we are right at the airport. So all day long I hear planes taking off, I see helicopters taking off, we have cargo planes come in, like I said earlier, military jets may come in and things like that. I get to be inside, I get to be outside, I can go over to the maintenance barn and check on some of our really awesome, huge equipment that takes care of all the planes and all the runways. So I get an opportunity to really get outside of my office quite regularly, and to me that's essential. I can't sit in one place all day long, and that's something that I think people often overlook when they think about an office job. You might love what you're doing, but when you sit in one place all day long, it can get a little tiresome, so it's nice to have a chance to get out and do some other work and really help some other folks out. The reason this career was for me is because I really enjoy communicating with people. I didn't come from the travel industry, and I didn't come from the airline industry. I'm a marketer at heart, so I've been working in marketing and advertising for the last 10 years. And I've bounced around to different organizations who do things that are wildly different. From outdoor kitchen manufacturers that make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 gas grills to technology startups when you're in the marketing and advertising world, your skills really translate into any industry that you can possibly think of. That's my favorite part about being in marketing, is that I'm not stuck in one industry per se. I mean, I can go into any industry I want, and I can do what I know I'm good at, and I can learn from them, learn the tips, the quirks, and things like that about each individual industry, and there's always a new challenge. Coming to the airport, the main reason I made this career move is that I knew there was a huge challenge ahead of me. Our airport has slowed and become smaller in the last decade, and that's obviously not what you want out of a business. So I take it as my job to bring this airport back to a place of growth and continue to see that growth happen over the next 10, 20, 30 years. And as something that's so important to the community, I think it's one way that I'm able to be involved in and support the Mid-Michigan and the Lansing community more so than I might be able to do in other positions in that marketing world. When we're looking for somebody to hire in the marketing world, particularly in the airport, one of the things that I want to make sure they can do is communicate effectively. And that doesn't mean I need them to type an email that's very, very formal and always be dressed perfectly and always have the best vocabulary and be polished and perfect. What I need is somebody who can make genuine connection. And there are certainly times when you need to send an email that is extremely formal and needs to have all the salutations and things like that. But for the most part, I need somebody who can communicate quickly, casually, and easily, whether it's through email, social media, in person, on the phone. That's how you make a real connection with most people. So that's the first thing I check. When they apply for the job, I look at their application, and I look at the way they sent it to me and how they communicated with me, and see if they did a good job of that. Beyond that, I like to make sure they have some excitement, and I ask them why they want this job. And I understand that there's a lot of folks who simply need a job. So if they say, well, I need a job, that's great, but I like to dig deeper and understand, why did you apply to this one? There's always something, especially in an airport, there's something exciting about it. So I really like to see, do you have a passion for that? And also, do you have a passion for helping people? Because in my job here, the marketing spans into that customer service side of things. So I really need to make sure that you're not just looking to sit and talk to an audience that you don't know. You need to be face-to-face with folks and be able to problem solve for them once you do get them through those doors through good marketing and advertising, to make sure they have a really great experience. The other thing that we do look for is a little bit of creativity. I myself am not the most creative person in terms of graphics, but I am able to use those Adobe softwares to make sure that I can make edits, and if I need to, I can make those adjustments on things that somebody else creates for me. But I find my creativity more in the writing and the content side of things. But I need to make sure whoever's coming in has some sort of a creativity spot so they can continue to push us and make us better and exciting. Otherwise, what you end up with is something very stale, and in marketing, it's very quick. You're very quick to lose the audience when they're not excited about what they're seeing. The type of education and training that's needed for my job, it varies in a great way. I went to college, a 4-year degree for marketing and advertising, but that's definitely not something that you need by any stretch of the imagination. What I learned in school that helped me the most was, again, those communication skills and how you can make the business case for marketing and advertising. But there's a lot of folks in my industry who did not go to college or maybe only got their associate's degree, and they tend to be the more creative folks. There's no issue with learning how to do all of the Adobe skills and web programming and anything like that from home, even when you're in high school. And then when you graduate high school, you're ready to take on a full-time job in this industry, and you can work your way through different roles and find what you really love. And then at that point, if you decide, I do need a little bit more education and training, you can go ahead and do that. But like I said, in a lot of cases, if you're that creative person and you have a real passion to help sell things and market things and communicate with people, you don't necessarily need formal training in college. And a lot of folks don't have any formal training at all. They simply hop online and learn from some tutorials, or they take a free online class to learn how to use some of these programs, and then they simply practice. One of the best parts about my job is that with the social media world, that's the same sort of thing I'm doing outside of work. I'm communicating with my friends and my relatives and everyone on social media. So those skills, you don't need anything extra. You probably already have all of those. So that's one of the reasons that I really love marketing, is anybody from any walk of life can come into it. And if they've got that passion with a little bit of learning, and like I said, it doesn't need to be formal, they can be extremely successful and find a niche that really fits well for them. Thank you so much for taking some time to learn a little bit more about me and my career. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you, and have a great day.